here with the 35th anniversary edition Volkswagen Jetta GLI, and I would like to take you with me to see how it drives. The 2019 year redesign of the Jetta made that the car became a little bit bigger. It also looks a little bit like an Audi. A lot of people, we've been getting that from a lot of customers who are looking at the 19 Jetta. With the GLI, it's just a step up from the performance of the regular Jetta. On the regular Jetta, you have a 1.4 turbo with an 8-speed transmission, making 147 horsepower and 184 pound-foot of torque, which is the same torque output as the old 1.8 that we used to put on the Golf and the top model Jettas. Right now, the regular Jetta gets only one engine, which is the 1.4 turbo. That engine is great on gas. It didn't lose a lot of its power. You don't feel a lot of loss of comparing it to the 1.8 in the city. But if you're that type of person that's looking for more power and a little bit more of a sportier look, a firmer suspension with a very tight handling, you would probably be considering to upgrade to the GLI. So that's what we're going to see today. With the GLI, you get the dynamic chassis control, which controls how the suspension feels in the car. Right now, I am at comfort mode, and we're going through a bit of bumps. The car feels fine, although this is supposed to be stiffer than a regular Jetta, but I don't really feel that it's stiffer than a Jetta. When you get into a regular Golf and you drive it, and then you get into a Golf GTI, you do notice a lot of difference when it comes to the bumps and how much you feel the road. This is something that I like about the GLI, that it's actually a little bit more comfortable, although it has the same setup as the Golf GTI, but it doesn't really feel as stiff as the GTI. But when you change the suspension setting or the dynamic control setting to sport, the car becomes stiffer and you can feel it. What also happens when you change between modes from comfort to sport, the engine and the exhaust note becomes more apparent. You also hear a little bit of intake noise, a little bit of a whistle, which is nice for people who like tuner cars and turbocharged vehicles, basically. If you like the turbo spooling noises, you would probably love how this sounds on sport mode. So for the 2019 as well, what other changes happen is that the car gets the brakes from the Golf R. The dynamic chassis control also is given to the GTI and the GLI from the Golf R. The steering wheel becomes heavier to turn. You can feel that it's more precise. And yeah. So as I said, right now we're still at comfort mode. You have as far as for the transmission, you have a 7-speed DSG dual clutch transmission. It's one of the nicest transmissions in the automotive industry, in my opinion. Volkswagen, Porsche, the Volkswagen group in general makes a great dual clutch transmission. Super quick changes, really doesn't waste the torque, and I really love them. But we will see how that feels right now on the GLI. I'll change the car to go into sport mode, and we'll see what kind of noticeable differences we can pick up. One nice thing that I might add that I like about the GLI here in North America compared to the GTI is that you get the digital cockpit, which it's basically an LCD screen that you can take the gauges away, put the navigation in front of you, or get all types of information right in front of you right here on the screen, rather than using this screen right here, which is, I find, to be very, very nice. It's very similar to Audi's digital cockpit. Now I put the car on manual, and suddenly you feel that the car has changed. The noise of the engine has changed. It's become growlier, a deeper note to the exhaust. Again, I'm on manual mode, so when I shift down, instantaneous shifts, thanks for the DSG transmission. I know a lot of enthusiasts would like the to get a manual in a car like this, but I don't know. I would tell you, try the DSG and see how you feel, because the DSG is definitely quicker. It gives you a lot of control on the engine and what the engine is doing. It's not like the computer is just gonna cut you midway through the gear and take control and shift on its own. It would only do that if you're over revving the engine, but otherwise you have a lot of control over when do you want the gear change to happen. And that's just amazing. You have basically the comfort of an automatic and the fun driving of a manual. Now, of course, with the clutch paddle on a manual and everything, you have much more control, but I'm saying that it's a similar feel that you can sort of simulate a little bit. And you see the bumps feel, I feel the bumps much more right now. I feel the road much more right now when I'm on sport mode. Stuck in a bit of a traffic here, but we'll see when the road opens up. What can we do with this? I just love how deep the engine note becomes, and if you rev out the car all the way to the end of the gear, you can actually hear the intake noise, which is a little whistle. Now, probably a lot of that noise is artificial, or most of it is artificial, which some people might be upset about, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. It gives a lot of theatric experience to the car, and it completely changes the car between different modes. So I kind of appreciate it, but I can see why some people would be like, "Oh no, I want to hear what the car really sounds like." But I don't mind it. I really like it. Oh. Okay. Drop a gear. Whoa. That's nice. That is nice. The engine is very, very responsive, and the transmission helps with that as well. If you're comparing this to something that would be probably a Civic Si, maybe a Subaru WRX, not the STI, just the WRX, but I'm not sure. The Subaru has four-wheel drive, this is front-wheel drive, so probably just the Honda Civic. This car, just sitting in it, the materials and everything that you feel, the steering wheel, which is one of the nicest feeling steering wheels, very wide grip, the materials right here with the aluminum look trim right here on the steering wheel. It feels a lot like an Audi product, you know. It really feels like a high quality material. Everything that you're touching is a high quality material. one thing is that when you, like, everything right here on the top is soft touch and whatnot, in the back, you do feel that things, like, Volkswagen went out of money a little bit, and everything is plasticky. But, for example, you have cooled and heated seats in the front, heated seats for the back as well, which is nice. You have to add that on a regular Jetta, and you only can get it on the top model exec line here in Canada. So that's nice that you get heated seats even for the rear passengers. So if you're comparing this to a Civic Si, if you're comparing this to a Civic Si, the Civic Si, I think only comes in manual. I'm not so sure about that, but I think it only comes in manual. You don't get to choose. As far as the power goes, this feels to me, I drove both vehicles, and this feels to me a lot more power, although it's probably just 18, 12, maybe 15 horsepower. I believe the Civic Si, the 2019 Civic Si is around 208 horsepower. This is at 228. Oh, that's 20 horsepower. Sorry. My math sucks. So what else do you have when it comes to performance? Man, really, that DSG is something else. That DSG holds the power and the torque so nicely. Gear shifts are instantaneous. It's just lovely. And I believe there is some sort of a launch control. Okay. I believe there's some sort of launch control that I can use. Just want to go to a more of a isolated road. Hold on one moment. Last time I tried my best to figure out how to turn on launch control, but I had to take a day off, go through the manual, and figure out how to do it. And I think I've done it. So let's try it out right now together. All right, first thing, we have to put the car on sport mode. Next thing, we have to turn off traction control. See, that's the one thing that I was missing. Okay, now let's see. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the gas, floor it, and nothing happens. Okay, let's try again. Put it on manual, traction control off, foot on the brake. Oh, launch control is on. Oh, okay, so I have to be on manual. There we go. This is a new thing. All right, manual. Are we ready? Let's try this again. Left foot on the brake, hard on the gas, foot off. And that's how you activate launch control in the 2019 Jetta GLI. There are a few points that you have to focus on. Basically, for the launch control to work, you have to put your left foot on the brake and push the gas, but before that you have to put the car on sport mode, put it in manual mode, and then after you push the brake and then floor the gas pedal, the car will tell you that launch control is ready, and then you have to take your foot off the brake once that happens and let the car go while you're flooring the accelerator, and make sure to change gears as well because you're on manual mode. Now back to the video. I just want to talk about the value factor of the GLI. This vehicle is bigger than the Golf, the GTI. If you're not necessarily a fan of the hatchback look, this gives you a very, very nice alternative that you can use. It also, the value factor that I was talking about, this vehicle is approximately $2,000 cheaper than a GTI. If we're talking about the GTI Rabbit, which is the special edition for 2019, or the Autobahn it would be actually much cheaper than the Autobahn version. It would be more than $2,000 cheaper to get these the leather interior that you're getting with the GLI. The GLI, if you get the regular one or the 35th anniversary, you're going to get the same seats, which is this leather material. Especially if you're looking for something, you want something that's a sedan. You can give more leg room to the people in the back rather than going with a GTI, and overall you're paying less. Now, I have driven the Golf GTI, the Rabbit edition, which has the dynamic chassis control, just like this vehicle, and I'm gonna bring that up in a video as well. And I have to say that car feels a little bit more nimble, a little bit more nimble, handles a little bit better than the Jetta GLI. Understandably so, because the vehicle is a smaller vehicle. This is a bigger chassis vehicle. Both of these cars, the GTI and the GLI, are front-wheel drive. With the GTI, the electronic systems and everything eliminate basically tire spin, front tire spin, as much as possible. This car being a bigger vehicle, if I put my foot down like all the way without taking any consideration to anything, you'll get a little bit of a wheel spin. It's not so bad, but in the GTI it's a little bit less, and the GTI handles a little bit sharper and it feels a little bit firmer. So it depends on you what you are looking for. If you're looking for something that would just devour corners and whatnot, maybe the GTI. If you're a little bit more, you want more practicality and more value for your money, probably the GLI. The GLI would be a very, very good option for that. Even with the GTI, really, like, you can't just put your foot down and expect the car to just launch forwards. This is not a four-wheel drive car, but yeah, I do feel a little bit more of a tire spin with this vehicle, comparing it to the GTI, of course. But once it gets going, it's going. That's it. I just love the power that this 228 horsepower engine, 2-liter turbo engine gives you. It's absolutely amazing, and you feel torque throughout the entire power band, basically, of every gear. More so at the lower ranges, of course, because that's kind of how Volkswagen does things. But absolutely lovely, absolutely lovely. You also have the XDS system, which basically manages wheel spin and sends the power to the tire that's got more grip, which helps you a lot to manage this power. You have no torque steer, basically. You have zero torque steer in the steering wheel, which is amazing for 228 horsepower, 258 pound-foot of torque, and not to have any torque steer. That's very, very, very nice and very respectable. All right, so this was my impression of the 2019 Volkswagen GLI Jetta 35th anniversary, and I feel like this is the more practical option, probably for people that want to drive a fun sedan that would give you a lot of features as well. Like, we have everything in here. We have lane keep assist, we have radar cruise control, we have blind spot monitoring, we have everything, basically. Even a wireless charging pad right here as well. And I feel the value proposition that the Jetta GLI offers is going to attract a lot of people who are thinking to get something like a Civic Si or even a Golf GTI, but they want a little bit more room, more trunk capacity. It would probably attract them to the GLI. I like this car. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Amro Ferris, and I work here at Valley Volkswagen. If you or any of your family members or friends want any help to get yourself a Volkswagen, I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you very much.